Hello, everybody. This is Love from Above from your Sibling Spirit Guides. I'm Maureen, and this is my brother.
Hey Maureen, hey everyone, this is Brian.
Hey, Brian, we're so happy to be here. If you can believe it, on this podcast, we share daily channelings we receive from star beings, ascended masters, mythical beings who really exist, and occasionally our ancestors. And today's topic is the paperclip in your purse, claiming the power within. This episode explores how our true self never changes despite life's constant reshuffling, and how help from the higher masters and departed loved ones is always just one sincere request away. Isn't that beautiful, brother?
Yeah, it totally is. And when think we've talked about this help from the higher masters and our, departed loved ones and how it's important to ask for help. And they'll cover this, but I mean, I think that's exactly what they get into. A lot of people feel like, oh no, I don't want to bother them. They're, or the higher, higher masters or and they can't just deal with me, but really they're there for everyone. So, oh,
Yeah.
but we'll get into that. So I'll get into December 5th of 2025, Voices of the Unified Whole. Quell the spirited force of energy residing deep within. We abandon what no longer serves for the greater purpose of the unified whole. The cellular structure is magnified by the greater glory of all we wish to bestow on you and your brother. Blessings from other worlds rarely considered in your newspapers and illustrious journals. We liken our home kind to the stellar state of pleasurable wanting, the joy of slurping down an ice cream sundae, the pleasure of spending time with our precious loved one. We engage in these rituals, none but our energetic signatures is the same. Should you look at us from a heavenly perspective, we would resemble one of your clouds. Our structures shift shape depending on a multitude of factors. Our forms are not so fixed as those of humankind. We can swim in your seas or sail in your skies. Walking would be treacherous for us without the implemented footwear. However, who needs to walk when you can fly or swim? We liken our structures to an ever-growing hive that can expand or contract based on the number of assembled personages within our unified entity. We shift the numbers apart, being based on the response of our ultimate destination. Well, that is really interesting. So I think I love how they say that they don't have, they don't engage in our rituals, but their energetic signature is the same of, slurping down an ice cream sundae or whatever, but that they're resemble one of your clouds. And we are always looking at the clouds and see, the clouds are so important, but they also swim in the sea. So it's fascinating. What do you make of this, Maureen?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the take home from this one is that their home is like the joy of slurping down an ice cream sundae. Think of that joy. Think if that's what your home is like. But yeah, I mean, we've had so many water beings. This is like, Brian, I think this is our first cloud being, right? I can't remember any other cloud beings, but it's really interesting to imagine like they have a like hive like form depending on how many people, how many beings are attached. Like it's just a really interesting structure that I can imagine. And yeah, who would want to walk if you can swim and you can fly? Forget about the walking.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I'd sign up for that. Sure.
Yeah, so I'll go into the next one, which is from December 25th 1st, 2025, and this is on the unified one. We speak now, trust our words are united with the one. We begin now with a course. To digest such a material requires perseverance and dedication to complete the work at hand. What do we mean? The ever present one, the Almighty, must be acknowledged with each and every breath. To unify with the one, with the whole, we see this as an application of superior strength of many weighty individuals. Individual strengths are often noted with the application of sustained prayers. We come in the glory of the one. We speak as a unified source of the one creator. You may speak as a unified one should you envelop yourself more fully in the light. This is a process that requires frontal lobe activation, which is yet to occur in both parties. We shall assist in bringing this reality phase into existence. We speak of dancing as an ironic method to achieve the enlightened vibration. Raise your feet, dear ones, tap along to signify your willingness to unite with the Almighty. The dancing done is done. In many years, the past brought the fervid results of lowered expectations and greater rewards for all reflective parties. We speak through the jumbled mind, manipulated, chaotic world. We wish for the tilt-a-whirl to rectify and be rebalanced. Imagine if you were used to living on a slant. When the proper alignment had been achieved, you would be on an uneven plane in your mind, though the rectification process had occurred. This is a turbulence that many feel at this particular time. It is not the result of increased chaos, but a levering of resources to return to their natural state. We provide another analogy. Say you have a full glass of water, but you share the water with your beloved, your betrothed, your child, your son, your daughter. How do you replenish it? It's easy. It's the act of dipping the cup within to replenish what is rightfully there. Though the earth may be depleted of its resources, the correction can occur naturally, and it will be as easy as dipping a cup of water beneath the flowing stream. Then I said, I hear laughter. What are you all laughing about? And they said, we take joy in these pleasurable moments with the united brother-sister pair. It is a unique opportunity for us to experience human activity. We delight in your playful natures and wish to frolic with you in delightful ways. That is all. Rest and be one with y'all. So, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting perspective on this time. So they're saying that everything's been evened out and we've just been used to being on a slant, like being on a tilt-a-whirl, and we don't realize that everything's even now.
Yeah, it's a realignment, not a collapse. I like that. That's interesting. What do you make of, let's see, it says you should envelop yourself more fully in the light. This is a process that requires frontal lobe activation, which is yet to occur in both parties, but they're going to assist in bringing this into existence.
Yeah, that to me is very interesting because once that happens, then we can speak as a unified one. We have to envelop ourselves more fully in the light.
Yeah.
So isn't it interesting? Like it's not even like, oh, you need to meditate more, or oh, you need to, read the Emerald Tablets one more time or whatever. I mean, it's literally a physical process. It requires a physical process. So that's fascinating.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, we welcome that to sign us up. So, but yeah, I mean, I think just I love the analogies and everything. I think it's a great message.
And I just want to add in, we get these messages all the time. They're always working on Brian and us, but we got a recent one. I think we shared this in the podcast, but they're also working on all of you. So, so it's Brian's and I experience is not unique. You're getting upgrades. Your frontal lobe may be activated. I mean, this process is not unique to us, right, Brian?
Yeah, good point. It's not like we're special or anything like that. It's all of those. Of course, and you have to consent to it, right, or ask for it. But
Right.
they're
Right.
here to help everyone that wants it. So yeah, great message.
Yeah. So do you want to go on with the next one for from February 5th, 2026?
Yes, illumination through higher masters, darling son and beautiful daughter, regulate your rhythmic bonds and enter into the circuitry. Now, our justifiable position is that of an observer. We relegate the observational intrusions on this planet. Our observational modes are widely constructive in facilitating the help of humans, so if desired, extend the arms. The receiving posture is imperative to open the body. A closed body indicates an unwillingness to adapt or try new things. The open posture of the arms, the head thrown back, the legs wide open, these are the correct positions to assume for receiving from your heavenly brethren. We acknowledge the great ones who inspire us. There are always higher masters to illuminate even the most illuminated being. Think of the avatars on your illustrious land, the godlike creatures who the gods have inspired and sprouted many religions. They turned to a higher master, and so should you. By this, we do not mean that you are not sovereign, just that help is easily accessible. The answers can easily come by utilizing the adaptability of the great ones who acknowledge the inner wealth within your great personage. The analogy we provide is accurate. Please explain to the brother. So, do you want to jump in here and explain what you
Yes. So when I was a kid, my favorite game show was Let's Make a Deal. And I don't know if you and remember, but you had to I think they still have that show on, but you had to choose between door number one, door number two, door number three. And at the end of the show, the host would walk through and he'd be like, I'll give you $100 if you got a paper clip in your purse. And these women are just like, and so, yeah, and the analogy is like, that's what it's like working with masters. You have the paperclip in the purse, it's there, but you forgot you had it. And they can assist you because everything you want is it's available to you. There's no exception to that rule, but it's just accessing that. So, yeah. So, do you want to go on with what they said by by using the
Yeah.
masters?
And by using the masters, it's like it's already within you, but you didn't realize it or you forgot about it. And so they help to point that out that yeah, you've got the paper clip that you're going to turn it in for $100. These are wise words to follow. Another similar analogy would be you have adequately prepared for the great mountain trek. Everything is provided for. You have sleeping bags, warm clothes, cooking utensils, food, water. But perhaps to access the granola bar, you you have to reach deep down into the backpack and select what you need at the moment. There's a reorganization, a reshuffling, but you're the same self. You have not changed. The reorganization may have shifted your belongings in the same way that your ultimate self never changes, regardless of the experiences that you go through and that feel like tremendous growth, that feel like you've changed externally. But no, the true you has never changed. The backpack may change as you go along the trip, it will become lighter. As you eat food along the way, drink water along the way, but you who are carrying the backpack, you are the same. A third analogy is with regards to your teeth, and it's talking about how when you're born, you don't have any teeth, and then your teeth and the teeth are the baby teeth, and then those are replaced by your adult teeth. All those teeth are still within the body, but they're still there when you're born, but they've changed as you grow and adapted in a natural course rather than, through the natural course of life. So we so see now that you understand the message and we retreat. So yeah, I love the analogies. The the mountain trek and reorganization of the backpack that you don't change, and then the teeth analogy. So what resonates with you, Maureen?
I love the analogies too. And of course, my favorite is Let Make the Deal because I did love that watching that as a kid. But I also love the fact that there's always higher masters. So even if, say, for example, I don't know, you're Hindu and, Ganesh is who you always call on. But, Ganesh has a higher master and there's always more. There's always more. So, and, I think about like the teachers that I had in my spiritual life. Like I've had so many teachers and they've grown and changed over the years. And I'm grateful for all those teachers, but I know there'll be new teachers. Oh my gosh, Brian, let's mention Drumvalo. Here's another episode with Drumvalo. He was saying, I was watching something, an old video of him, like from the 80s, and he was saying, I have 12 Native American teachers. And he's like, I've only met 9 of them, but the number been given is 12. So I know there's 3 more. So, there's always more. There's always another teacher.
Yeah. Yep, so true. I mean, no matter what level that's a great point. You think, oh, even the highest spiritual masters have their teachers. So yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, and Drumvalo is those who listen regularly know, and Drumvalo Makasiak, I mean, my gosh, he's someone that I definitely admire. And yeah, I mean, like I said, he's had so many teachers. I was watching again the introduction to the Brian, I can never remember that book that is so transformative. What is it called? The Ancient Flower of the Secret of the Fire of do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put a link to it because I can't
Yeah, but
remember it
anyway,
like that.
he was going through all of his teachers, and oh my gosh, I mean, no wonder he's, just the enlightened, awakened soul. I mean, he's got probably a half an hour introduction into all the teachers that he's had. So yeah, yeah, it's fascinating. But anyway, I'll go on with the closing, which is from March 13th, 2026. Messages from the higher realms. Darling ones, we attend to thee as the circumference of the body shrinks, then grows. We admonish those who fail to heed these important words. Our lessons are always true. We regulate the temperature of the human frame as we enter the bodily forces. Now we encompass the frame to speak freely and engage with rightful personas ready to receive loving messages. Do you remember the photos of Buddhas with multiple arms? Okay, so I'm going to pause here. I must have been in Asia. I was in Asia last in March. But anyway, one of my favorite things when you go to the Buddhist temples is they'll have like a Buddha or, a bodhisattva with like seriously like 100 arms, and one arm might be carrying something, and another, and I love that whole concept. But anyway, that's what they're talking about, these statues that are quite frequently in Buddhist temples in Asia. So they say this is a fully engaged one who has access to the full realms of possibility. Again, we say this is not possible with human capacities. Imagine one of your toddlers trying to learn and grow without the assistance of coaches, teachers, parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, friends. Impossible, you would say. The child would be wild and tamed and untrained. This is a human who does not access the portals of possibility through the higher realms. These are accessed through meditation books, alternative practices, breathing, yoga, mindfulness, and others. But the simplest way to engage this process is to call for help. Many times, those on your planet feels silly asking for assistance from an unknown being that they question the true existence of. Was Jesus real? Was he an avatar? Is the Buddha too busy to bother with my trivial details? This is why a departed family member is often the first access point for those who have intuitive inclinations. They can sense the presence of another. Perhaps they receive dream messages or symbols in some other way of the presence of a departed loved one. This loved one can assist and indeed will assist. They are likened to a superhero from your stories. Passing through the veil, they are no longer limited within the human mind and heart and bodily frame. They are fully engaged with divine light of the one, like a superhero with their cape and special powers. Do not hesitate to call upon your crazy aunt or uncle or your discombobulated grandpa or grandma who couldn't remember one thing. They are now fully engaged on the other side, immersed and bathed with the light of the one. So, yeah, call on your crazy aunt or your forgetful grandma and grandpa because they're fully in the light.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the same person that you knew when they were incarnated on Earth for sure. So that's a great message. But even that, I mean, call on your relatives, but don't be afraid to call on, higher masters or Jesus or whoever spiritually your faith may align to.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially your family too. Brian, I remember the first time our grandpa showed up, I will never forget it. I was in my bathroom and I saw this man so clearly and he was like 28 years old. I think he told me he was 28 years old and I had no idea who he was. And it was our grandpa. But obviously, I did not know what he looked like at 28 years old. And trust me, I just went through the photos recently. There are no photos of of our grandfather when he was young. So I was like, oh, who is this man? So, but yeah, they're there, they're in the light, and they are like a superhero here to help, right?
Yep. And he's very protective of you. He's always around. Well, me too, I'm sure, but I don't know, something. I think he's just always very protective of you. I know that for a fact, right?
Well, he told me that so at that time I was going through a divorce. I'd been married for decades, and he told me because not only that, my intuitive friends were like, "Who's this guy who's hanging around you?" And I'm like, "That's my grandpa," and they could even pick up on him. And he told me that since I didn't have a man in my life, he was the man in my life. He's keeping an eye on me. So which couldn't you see that? I mean, couldn't you absolutely see that? Yeah. So he's keeping an eye on me, and yeah, I'm grateful. And again, Brian would have said in this in podcast, like we did not have a close relationship with him when he was alive, but even so, yeah, call on the crazy aunt that you may not even have known.
Well, I mean,
Um,
part of it too was most of the time my life he had a stroke and couldn't speak, so it really limited. Even though he lived with us for a while, but he didn't.
right.
Yeah, it was just hard to interact, right? But anyway,
And English was not his first language, and so
yeah.
there were just a lot of barriers. But yeah, so I mean, obviously he's there is my protector and guardian now, and I'm super grateful. But yeah, Brian, I'll never forget that. Like, who is this guy in my bathroom? And yeah, it was our grandfather. But yeah, so thank you all for listening to this. The next week's podcast is going to be on the wisdom of being present. So hope you tune into that one.
Bye, everyone.